Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here. Today I'm going to be making a video on some potential surprise cuts that the Redskins might be making this offseason. If you guys are new, subscribe for Redskins and NFL content. So let's get right into the video. So there's not many huge surprise cuts, but there's probably going to be a couple minor surprises. So I'm going to get into it right now. My first surprise cut is John Bostic, one of our linebackers. I think he's mostly likely going to make the roster. Like I said, it's a surprise cut video. But if Reuben Foster is fully healthy and ready for the start of the season, ready to play week one, then I think it's a real possibility that John Bostic gets cut because he's a decent linebacker, but he's nothing special. Last year he did have 105 tackles, but that's partly because he was the primary linebacker alongside Cole Holcomb. This year, he's not going to get as many tackles because he's not going to be playing as much if he does make the team because you got Thomas Davis there, you got Kevin Pierre-Louis, you got Khaleke Hudson, you got all these linebackers, Reuben Foster, Cole Holcomb. So if Reuben Foster is fully healthy, then I do think there is a solid chance that John Bostic gets cut. But it goes two ways. If Reuben Foster is not healthy for the start of the season, then that pretty much means it's a 90% chance that Bostic makes the team. But yeah, Bostic is a decent player. We did re-sign him this offseason, so I do expect him to make the team, but keep an eye out for if Reuben Foster is fully healthy, then he might not make the team. So next guy is Ronald Darby. We did sign him to a one-year deal, so he most likely will make the team, but it could another Orlando Scandrick situation that I think where we signed him in 2017 in the offseason. Everyone thought he would be decent for us, and he ended up just being a camp body, and we ended up cutting him. So it could be that situation if Ronald Darby is getting burned by our receivers in training camp, not doing good at all, or if he's not healthy, then I definitely think there's a possibility we cut him. But I do think Ronald Darby can be a good player for this team if he is healthy. That's the key thing because you look at his last 3 years, he's played 8, 9, and 11 games, and a lot of the games he was playing in, he was playing through injury. So that's why his coverage stats weren't as good as they were in Buffalo when he was healthy. So I think if he does stay healthy, I think he can be a solid to above average starter on the outside for us. But that's the big thing if he's healthy. If he has some kind of injury that's nagging during training camp, he might be placed on IR or be released, and we might not end up. He might not end up making the roster. But I think Ronald Darby should contribute. But that's another guy to keep your eye on to see if he makes a team. The next guy, this is not really a surprise cut at all. I just wanted to include it in this video. Josh Harvey Clemens. I think Josh Harvey Clemens will definitely get cut. Get cut this year. He is still really young, 25 years old, but look at his stats the last couple years. Really hasn't done anything. Last year played in 9 games, had 3 total tackles, guys. He's not making the team. He's a linebacker. I don't think he's going to make the team. Unless there's a bunch of injuries. Hopefully we're healthy through training camp. Reuben Foster's back and everyone else is back. But I do not see Josh Harvey Clemens making the team. We already added a couple linebackers in free agency and also added Khaleke Hudson in the draft. So Josh Harvey Clemens, there's a really small chance he is able to make the roster. So the next two guys, Jordan Brailford and James Smith-Williams, these might be surprise cuts. I think one of these two will end up making the team. It's just hard to tell who will make the team. Jordan Brailford, in his junior year at Oklahoma State, he had played in 13 games, had 10 sacks, 17 tackles for loss. So he was a beast, 2 forced fumbles. But last year, I think he got hurt in training camp and really missed the whole year. Didn't get to play at all, which was disappointing. We really didn't get to see what he could do. So it's going to be tough to see if he makes the team. I think that's going to be an interesting battle to watch, him versus James Smith-Williams in training camp, to see who's doing better, because I do end up thinking I think one of those guys is going to make the team because we do want some more depth on the for pass rush, even though our pass rush is already really good. But I do think one of these guys is going to make the team. It's just going to be whoever plays better in training camp. And we don't know what Jordan Brailford's going to do. He hasn't been able to stay healthy, so we haven't seen him in an actual game. So that's going to be a tough one. I have no idea if he's going to make the team or not. Moving on to James Smith Williams. As you look at his college stats in the last few years, nothing really special, but something that really stands out is the games played. In his freshman year, he played in one game, and then in his second freshman year, because he didn't lose a year of eligibility, he played in 5 games, and then 6 in his sophomore year, 11 in his junior year, and then 6 in his senior year. So really didn't have a lot of production because he didn't play in a lot of games. Did end up having a decent junior year, producing 6 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. So nothing special. Overall, Jordan Brailford's stats are a lot better in college, but this is a pick from Ron Rivera and Kyle Smith. The last pick was from Bruce Allen and Kyle Smith. So I think James Smith Williams might have the edge, but it's really who plays better in training camp, in my opinion, is going to make the team, because I think one of our draft picks might get cut. We did have a lot of draft picks this year, about 8, so I do think someone's going to get cut. So now moving on to the offense, a lot less interesting. I really don't think there's many surprise cuts on offense, but the first one is Drawn Christian. I doubt he gets cut, but it could be a surprise cut if Sadiq Charles is playing super good. I think Drawn Christian could get cut. He's 6'6". He's 23 years old, 315 pounds, and he's going into his 3rd year. He's been a really disappointing player. Was a 3rd-round pick out of Louisville and hasn't lived up to expectations at all. But we'll see if he's put in a lot of work this offseason. Maybe he can get that starting job, that starting left tackle job. But I highly doubt it. But we can hope. Hopefully he put in that work, but I highly doubt it. And this is really going to be his last year, in my opinion, to prove that he can be a starter or at least be a capable backup. Because if he can be kind of a Ty Nsekhe, who's a decent backup for us when Trent Williams would go out for about 4 games a year, then that would be a win for us, and we might be able to re-sign him for cheap. But if he plays like he has been in the last couple years, then I definitely think he will end up getting cut after this season. And who knows, if he looks terrible this offseason, then he definitely could get cut. So the last one is definitely super controversial. And again, remember, it's surprise cuts, and it is Adrian Peterson. Again, very small chance it does happening. Don't hit the dislike button just because I said this. But I think Adrian Peterson has a 95% chance of making this team. But the big if is if Antonio Gibson is balling out, if J.D. McKissic's balling out, and then the huge factors are if Bryce Love and Darius Geist if they're both healthy and playing super good, then he could potentially get cut, because if they're both healthy, I mean, that's why he's on the roster, not just because of his veteran leadership and his running ability, but because we need an insurance policy in case Geist and Love aren't healthy. So that's why he's on the team, and I do think he is going to end up making the team. But if Darius Geist, Bryce Love, if everyone's healthy and everyone's balling out, then you could see potentially Adrian Peterson getting cut. A few of you guys wanted me to make a video on him, or you wanted me to mention him, so that's why I mentioned him. But again, I doubt it happens. And now we'll go on to a couple tight ends. I really didn't put them up on the screen, but because I just think it's hard to tell who. I think Hale Henches could get cut, Jeremy Sprinkle could get cut, Richard Rodgers will probably get cut. We're gonna probably carry 2 to 3 tight ends, and it's gonna be hard to tell who. I think Logan Thomas is definitely gonna make it, and Thaddeus Moss is probably also gonna make it. Those 2 are definitely gonna make it, and we'll see about a 3rd tight end. If we want to keep Hale Henches, if we want to keep Jeremy Sprinkle. Jeremy Sprinkle, I know all of the Redskins fans hate him, but he actually is a very good blocker. So I don't think he's as bad. Here's his stats right here. I don't think he's as bad as everyone says he is. He is not the best catcher. Definitely not. He drops a lot of passes, so I wouldn't want to lean on him in the pass game, but his blocking is good. But we also now do have Thaddeus Moss for that, so we could end up cutting Jeremy Sprinkle, but I definitely like Jeremy Sprinkle better than Richard Rodgers. And Hale Henches, I think, definitely has more potential than Jeremy Sprinkle, but that's going to be interesting to watch. So let me know what your surprise cuts are, and I'm not putting Bryce Love or Reuben Foster in this video because I doubt they get cut. Worst case scenario for them is that they start the year on the PUP list or on IR. They will not get cut. Mark my words on that one. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I think really the most realistic here are Josh Harvey-Clemens, Jordan Brailford / James Smith-Williams. One of those two, I think, definitely could happen. And then Jonathan Bostic could happen too. So let me know what you guys think. Give me your surprise cuts in the comments section below. And thank you guys all who came to my stream on Ed Oliver's channel with Juan Gotti yesterday. We talked about this on the stream too. It was really fun. Thank you guys for all coming in. And yeah, I appreciate it. Turn on those post notifications. Subscribe if you're new. And peace.